Thank you for joining me on this edition of Terry's Tips. And on this edition, I have a very special guest with me today. I have Bethan from Parmenter Insurance Agency. Now, on this edition, we're going to talk about insurance questions that my clients consistently ask during the home selling and home buying process. Now, Bethan, tell us a little bit about your agency and give us a little bit about your background.
Okay, so my name is Bethan Parmenter. I've been with our agency for 9 years. I'm a licensed property and casualty broker. Our agency's been around since the 1950s. It was started by my grandpa, Bob Parmenter, in Long Beach. My mom and dad took it over, and now my brother and myself work in the business, along with our customer service rep, Pam Trost.
That's awesome. So long time in the industry, long time in the area, and you have a lot of clients. Actually, I stumbled across you guys on a Facebook post. Interestingly enough, a little side story. I belong to a group locally on Facebook, and somebody was asking an insurance question, and I saw that your mom responded immediately with the answer, and it was so eloquent and so on. And then your mom and I sparked up a relationship, and that's why you're actually sitting here. She said that you're better on camera than she is. I doubt that, but I'm sure you're probably both very good. She probably didn't want to come to the office today, but I'm glad you're here. And we're going to ask you some questions that my clients, again, consistently ask on a regular basis. So let's jump into this. Are you cool?
Absolutely.
Let's go. Now, by the way, you probably noticed a little raspy voice. Bethan is, she was sick and she's, fighting through a cold that she had last week, but I'm sure that's not going to affect the answers at all. So let's get into this. So the first question that I have is, what type of coverage do I need for specific California risks when it comes to insurance?
Terry, I would say the top two most important coverages are going to be your fire coverage and your earthquake coverage. As you know, the San Andreas Fault goes right down Southern California. So it's really important to have that earthquake coverage because the standard homeowner's policy does not cover any earthquake damage. The second most important one, or equally important, is going to be your fire insurance. As you know, California has a lot of wildfires, so it's really important to protect your home against those.
Yeah, and obviously we had an earthquake. Right now we're in the end of August. We had an earthquake literally a few days ago that happened, and we see the wildfires that had happened in Hawaii, unfortunately, and God bless everybody there. We do definitely want to protect ourselves against those happenings. I know I live in Aliso Viejo, and there was a wildfire there a few years ago that literally was half a mile from my home. Luckily, I don't think any homes were destroyed at that time, but it does happen, and it's something we really have to be careful of. So when it comes to wildfires, what are you covered for, and what do people have to really look at when it comes to wildfire protection?
So when it comes to wildfire protection, you want to make sure there's no exclusions on your policy. If you have a policy called a difference in conditions policy, there's going to be no coverage for wildfires. That's when you would need to get a California FAIR plan in addition to your difference in conditions homeowner's policy. But most standard homeowners policy cover for the fire peril. So that's accidental fire started inside the home or wildfires coming through. And if your home is completely destroyed in a wildfire, your policy will pay to rebuild your home.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so that's a great answer. Let's jump into flood insurance. And is flood insurance necessary for all homes in California, or what's the situation with flood insurance?
Flood insurance is not required for every home in California. Your coastal communities, your communities at the bottom of the hill, and your communities in which your mortgage requires you to carry flood insurance, that's when you really need to have it. A great way to check is to ask your broker. They can do a little flood map and determine if you need flood insurance. But a lot like earthquake, flood is not covered by a standard homeowner's insurance policy.
So you'll need extra coverage for flood?
Yes, it's its own policy.
Okay. So when you say ask your broker, you're meaning the mortgage lender, the mortgage broker, or insurance broker?
You can ask either or when you're purchasing a home. You can ask your lender if you are in a floodplain, or you can always ask your insurance broker and they'll be able to tell you.
Okay. And when it comes to NHDs, does that help if they have an NHD report? Does it help them figure out where they need flood insurance or if they need flood insurance? Or is it just best to kind of roll through and again talk to their lender and or insurance broker?
Any reports are helpful. The more information you have, the more knowledge you have, that's great. But I'd say the best way to do it is ask your lender when purchasing, so you know ahead of time. If you are in a floodplain, that policy can get a little bit pricey, or ask your broker to run a quote at any point.
Now, if somebody was to call you with an address, would you be able to tell them, yes, you're in a floodplain and yes, you're going to need additional flood coverage?
Absolutely. So I could let you know in about 10 minutes. Just your name, your date of birth, and your address, and I can do everything I need with that.
All right, fantastic. So the next question we have is, what factors impact people's premiums?
So that is a great question. Right now, we are in a hard market for insurance, which means rates are going up across the board. Insurance companies are needing to recoup losses from the wildfires that have happened in the last couple of years. So you're seeing insurance premiums trending upwards, even if you haven't had a claim or anything like that. If you're in a brush area, your premium is going to go up. So the closer you are to a wildlife preserve, national park, anything like that, you're going to see your rates going up. If you've had any water claims, you're absolutely going to see your rates going up, or any other kind of claims on your policy, especially if it's two of the same kind. You could actually get canceled for that, but you will see an increase in premium.
So if somebody was to get canceled, do you have options for them where they can find, because obviously they need insurance. So
Absolutely.
Do you have multiple places you can find coverage for them?
We do. We're independent brokers. So we work for a variety of companies ranging from specialty to standard to California Fair Plan level specialty, meaning that we can insure almost any home in California, regardless of claim status or brush proximity.
Fantastic. Okay, so that's good news, because I have a lot of clients that have been asking about insurance and their premiums going up, or they're scared that their premiums are going up or be canceled, and they're wondering what do they do if they get canceled, of course. So there are options if they contact you, and you have options for them. So that's fantastic news. All right, so the next question that I have for you is, why did my homeowner's insurance rate go up if there hasn't been any claims?
Again, going back to that hard market, we're just seeing it across the board. A lot of companies are filing for a rate increase with the Department of Insurance. So that's a percentage of your premium, say 5%. Every homeowner's policy is going to increase by 5% for that entire company in order to recoup the money lost in the recent wildfires, like I said. Also, things like age of your plumbing, age of your roof, as you see those things get beyond 20 years, your rates are going to go up. So things like re-roofing, updating your electrical, and updating your plumbing are going to really help lower your rates. You're going to want to let your insurance broker or company know if you've done any of those updates.
Right. So you bring up a good point. So if you are looking for a home, or you're putting an offer in on a home, it's obviously very important for the realtor, the seller disclosures, to read those and to make sure that it's fully disclosed what repairs have been done, what repairs need to be done, the age of all of these fixtures, because that's going to affect their insurance premium. So before they actually finalize their offer or commit to purchasing a home, they should probably A, get that information, and B, confirm it with you to make sure that what their premium is, so that they can afford their insurance premium, versus, being totally freaked out after they purchase the home and find out that the rates are really too high.
Absolutely. So getting an insurance quote is totally free. It's really easy. So I work with a couple of realtors and mortgage lenders who will send their clients to me when they're in the process of buying home. We'll do a couple different checks on, say they're between 2 or 3 addresses. We'll check the insurance rates for each address to help determine what's the best home and what insurance fits into their budget.
Fantastic. So make sure that before you finalize your transaction, obviously I do this for my clients, but make sure you do all of this legwork and upfront work before you finalize your transaction. So the next question I have for you is, what is the California Fair Plan, and is it a good option for me?
The California Fair Plan is a way for the state of California to ensure that everyone has fire insurance. If you cannot get insurance through any other standard company, that's where you're going to go, and you're going to need a difference in conditions companion policy. California Fair Plan only covers for fire. So you absolutely need that secondary policy, and it's kind of a fallback plan when you can't get anything else. It is a little more expensive, and it is a 2-part policy, but it's a great option if you're in a really high brush area and no one else will write you.
Fantastic. So there are options for everybody, basically.
Absolutely.
Fantastic, because you would obviously not want to not have insurance if there's something was to come up, of course. Yes. That's a great option. Thank you. And the last question before we kind of finish off here is, what are some of the options for lowering my premiums? If I wanted to lower my premiums, what can I do to do that? Is there anything?
Yeah, there's a couple of really great ways to do this. The first way I would recommend would be looking at bundling your insurance under one carrier. The more policies you add to that carrier, the more your discounts are going to stack up. Also, for homeowners, adding things like a burglar alarm, fire alarm, indoor cameras, indoor sprinklers, these are all going to give you discounts on your policy, as well as increasing your deductible. The best way beyond bundling is going to be to increase your deductible, and it's going to lower your premium. The one problem with this is if you do have a claim, you are responsible for the deductible amount for the claim. But if you need that premium down, it's a really great option. Some companies start at $500 for deductible and will go up to $10,000. So it's personal preference and what works best for your budget and your family.
Wow. In the last 10 minutes, you've thrown out a lot of great content and a lot of great suggestions, and answered some great questions. So thank you very much. But before we check out, what I want to do is I want to tell the audience exactly, again, your company name, how they can reach you, and what services you offer. We're obviously talking home insurance, but I know that you offer other services. And the one great thing that I'm getting from this conversation and getting to know you and your mom a little bit is the fact that you're very consultative, which is really important. You know, you are a small company that still believes in, you know, kind of hand-holding the consumer and giving them all the information and being consulting to them. So I really like that approach to working with clients. So tell us a little bit more about your company and exactly what you do.
Absolutely. So, like I said, we're independent brokers, which means we're not tied to any one company. And since we've been around since the 1950s, we don't have any quotas. We don't have to put a certain amount of business with any one company. We're able to place clients where we best feel that the company meets their needs. And we write a variety of different kinds of insurance. So home, auto, earthquake, umbrella, motorcycles, earthquake, flood, anything you can think of that you need to be personally insured for, we're able to insure it. And a lot of our companies offer great multi-policy discounts. We also write things like high-value homes, homes in brush areas, homes with multiple claims. We're also able to write California non-good drivers, drivers who need an SR22 or have had a DUI. We've really got a broad range, and just being around so long really gives us the knowledge and ability to put clients where they need to be. And like you said, we're a small family agency. We're a boutique agency. I run our personal lines department. I have a great customer service rep, Pam. She's on a first name basis with all of our clients. You're not going to dial a 1-800 number. You're going to call. You're going to speak to Pam. You're going to speak to myself. You're going to speak to my mom or my brother. And we're going to help walk you through whatever's going on, whether it's a quote, whether it's reviewing your policy every year, whether it's filing a claim. We can do it all with you or for you, whatever the client prefers.
Fantastic. You are an absolute rock star. You see why I'm referring this company to my clients and working with them myself, because of just exactly what you've just said, that personalized connection and hand-holding. I love it. Thank you very much for joining me today. And how do they reach you? If they wanted to go to your website, or is there a phone number that they can call, an email?
Absolutely. So our phone number is 949-829-0516. We also have a website, www.parmenterins.com. We have a Facebook, and we have an Instagram at Parmenter that we share insurance memes. They're a little dorky, but I find them funny. So please go give us a follow. We are also on Yelp. And just Google us and you'll be able to find us.
Thank you so much for sharing some great content with my clients and with my sphere of influence. I know that they're going to really appreciate it. So thank you so much. And until next time, cheers.